Chapter 3. The stairs in the old apartment building had not been repaired in decades, and every step groaned like it was tired of holding the weight of the world. Oil stains from forgotten repairs marked the concrete, and the smell of rust, dust, and dampness hung heavy in the air. Ibrahim noticed these things the moment he stepped inside, because he noticed everything that was broken. It was a habit formed by 30 years of fixing engines that others had already given up on. He was a mechanic by trade, but more than that, he was a man who had learned how to carry broken things without asking why they were broken in the first place. That evening, he had come only to return a toolbox he had borrowed from a tenant upstairs. Nothing heroic, nothing meaningful. He didn't know yet that this staircase would change the direction of his life forever. Halfway up, he heard a soft cough, thin, painful, the kind that scraped the lungs instead of clearing them. Then a small voice followed, fragile but strangely steady. "Mister, if you carry me up the stairs, I'll tell you a secret." Ibrahim stopped, slowly. He turned and saw her, sitting on the cold step, legs drawn close to her chest, arms wrapped around herself, like she was afraid she might fall apart if she loosened her grip. She couldn't have been more than 7 years old. Her hair was unevenly cut, as if someone had done it in a hurry, and her skin was pale, in a way that had nothing to do with the weak light bulb flickering above them. Her eyes, though, were sharp, too sharp for a child who looked this tired. He frowned, not because he was annoyed, but because he was confused. "Where's your mother?" he asked gently. The girl shook her head once. "She's working," she said. "She won't be back till late." Another cough bent her small body forward. Ibrahim hesitated. Life had taught him to mind his own business. Every time he didn't, it usually cost him something, money, time, or peace. But something about the way she said working told him this wasn't a normal evening. "Why are you sitting here?" he asked. She looked at the stairs above them, then back at him. "Because I can't climb them today." He noticed then how thin her arms were, how her hands trembled slightly as she rested them on the step. She was sick, not flu sick, not tired sick. This was the kind of sickness that lived with you, the kind that didn't leave. "What's your name?" Ibrahim asked. "Amina," she said. "What's yours?" "Ibrahim." She nodded as if she would remember that forever. "Will you carry me, Ibrahim?" He sighed quietly, glancing up the staircase. "3rd floor. Not easy, but not impossible." He crouched down in front of her. "You're not too heavy," he said, trying to make it sound casual. She smiled for the first time, and it hit him harder than he expected. It was the smile of someone who didn't get many reasons to smile anymore. He lifted her carefully, feeling how light she was, far too light for a child her age. As he started climbing, each 2 per 3 step groaned louder, and with every groan, he felt a strange weight in his chest. "So," he said, trying to distract her, "what's this secret?" Amina rested her head against his shoulder. Her voice was soft, almost a whisper. "Not yet," she said. "At the top." The building felt longer than before. Each step seemed to stretch time. Ibrahim's arms ached, but he didn't slow down. He thought about his garage, about the cars waiting half-fixed, about the bills on his kitchen table. He thought about the silence of his home, the kind that had settled in years ago after his wife died and never truly left. Carrying Amina felt unfamiliar, necessary. When they reached the 3rd floor, he gently set her down on the landing. She leaned against the wall, breathing hard. "Are you okay?" he asked. She nodded, then shook her head, then nodded again, as if she didn't know which answer was more honest. "You promised," she said. Ibrahim crossed his arms, pretending to be stern. "I did." Amina looked at the door in front of them. The paint was peeling, and the number was barely hanging on by one nail. "My secret," she said slowly, "is that my mom thinks I'm getting better." Ibrahim felt his stomach tighten. "But you're not?" he asked. She shook her head. "The medicine helps sometimes, but the doctor said, he said I need another treatment." She paused. "It costs a lot." Ibrahim said nothing. He had heard this story too many times in different forms. Hospitals, bills, people. Choosing between hope and food. My mom cries at night, Amina continued. She thinks I'm asleep. But I hear her. She looked up at him then, her eyes searching, his face like she was trying to see something beyond what he showed the world. I didn't tell her I hear. Ibrahim swallowed hard. He didn't know what to say, so he did what mechanics do best. He focused on what was in front of him. Why tell me? He asked quietly. Amina shrugged. Because you carried me, she said. People who carry you don't usually leave. The door opened suddenly, and a woman stood there frozen in shock. Her clothes smelled faintly of cleaning chemicals, her hands red and raw. Amina, she said. Fear rushed into her voice. Who is this? Ibrahim raised his hand slightly. I'm sorry, he said quickly. She was sitting on the stairs. She couldn't climb. The woman's eyes filled with tears instantly. I told you to wait inside, she said to her daughter, pulling her close. Amina didn't resist. She just looked back at Ibrahim once. Thank you, she said softly. The woman looked at him, embarrassment and gratitude mixing on her face. Thank you, she echoed. I didn't mean to trouble you. It's no trouble, Ibrahim said, though his arms still felt the ghost of her weight. He handed over the toolbox he had come to return and turned to leave. But as he descended the stairs, something pulled at him. A sound, a cough. The same painful cough as before, now muffled by the thin walls. He stopped on the second floor, resting. His hand on the railing. He told himself this was not his problem. He told himself he had seen worse. But he also knew he was lying. That night, back in his small apartment above the garage, Ibrahim couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he felt the lightness of Amina in his arms. Heard her voice saying, people who carry you don't usually leave. He sat up, rubbing his face, staring at the ceiling. For the first time in years, the silence didn't feel empty. It felt demanding.